Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am doing a 24-hour summer read-a-thon, and I will say this is not my idea. I stole it from a YouTuber who I love watching. Her name is Morgan Long. If you haven't heard of her, check her out. She's a lot of fun. She has like a booktube channel, which I had never heard of. So she basically just does stuff along the lines of like books, and just shares a lot of like herself, and she's very vulnerable. I really like her. But something that she does do are these like 24-hour read-a-thons. So I thought it'd be fun to do like a really summery one, because summer is definitely, I don't think it's officially the first day of summer quite yet, for me at least. Or at least when I'm filming this, but it feels like it. It's like 90 something degrees right now. So I'm gonna try to do a little summery read-a-thon. So first of all, I picked 3 books for this next 24 hours. I'm gonna do a book on my Kindle. I think this will be the last one that I read. It's called Take Care of Your Type by Christina Wilcox. And she's someone who I follow on Instagram. In my head, we're like best friends, even though she lives like 2 time zones away. So I just don't know if we'll ever actually meet, but she seems really great. And her book is all about exploring like loving yourself and caring for yourself through the Enneagram, or at least that's the impression that I've gotten so far. So I'm really excited to read that one. It's gonna be the second book I read. I'm going to read Daring Greatly by Brené Brown. I actually started reading this one a while ago and I just never finished. It happens. So I'm gonna start at the beginning and read the whole thing, hopefully in less than 24 hours. And I'm gonna start, I know it's so big, but I'm excited. I'm gonna read Tolkien's The Fellowship of the Ring. It's so long, and I haven't read this since like middle school, so it's been over 15 years, and I think it's ready to read it again, or I'm ready to read it again. I should also say why I'm picking these books. So it is June, it is Type 6 month, and so I wanted to start with the Take Care of Your Type, just as an Enneagram overview, and I do want to share some of my thoughts on Christina Wilcox's like Type 6 and like how to take care of a Type 6. I chose the Daring Greatly book from Brené Brown because a big thing for Type 6s is they can be very like rule oriented, or fall into comfort, similar to a Type 9, but definitely with more of a like, I'm keeping myself and the people who I love safe. And so I thought this would be a good book to read because it's about being very daring and taking risks and getting outside of your comfort zone. So I thought that would be an interesting one to read through the lens of a Type 6, or at least trying to read through the lens of a Type 6. And then I was looking up some literary characters who people think are Type 6s. And I've shared on my Instagram that I think like Ron Weasley is a Type 6. However, I have read Harry Potter books so many times. And honestly, the shortest one that I could realistically read would be like the first one, maybe the second one. And I've read those books, I mean, at least 5 times, like those first 2, at least 5 times. So I just don't want to reread them again quite yet. Maybe in like 10 more years I will. I can reread the series and all the magic will come back to me. I do think because it's been over 15 years, possibly 20 years since I've read The Fellowship of the Ring, I do think this would be a good one to read. The character that I read was possibly a Type 6 is Frodo. And I just like, I don't know if I agree, especially in the movie version. I don't know if I agree that he's a type 6. So I really wanted to read the book again, and maybe literary Frodo will be more of a type 6 than like movie Frodo. So we'll see. So guys, get ready. I'm gonna go grab myself a seltzer water for reading, and I'm gonna get started on the Fellowship of the Ring. Also, it's about 11:35. So I think I'm gonna start maybe like 11:45 is when I'll officially start reading, and it'll be fun. I'm excited. This is gonna be a good 24-hour journey. I'm gonna try to switch things up and read in different places. Hopefully places that will inspire me to keep reading and I won't get distracted like I normally do. So let's see what happens today. Good morning, everyone. So it is the second day of my 24-hour read-a-thon. It is about 8:22 in the morning, and I'm supposed to be done at 11:45. However, I am not very far in the book. I mean, this is the beginning. This is where I am right here. I'm not even halfway into Fellowship of the Ring. And I am going to breakfast this morning with my parents. So I just feel like I'm not even gonna get halfway through this by 11:45, but that's okay. I think I'm just going to extend the 24-hour read-a-thon and just read this all day long and hopefully make like a much bigger dent in it. And then maybe it's just gonna be realistic for me in the future to do one book per 24 hours. I also realized like I'm not a slow reader, but I take my time. Like I really pay attention to the details in the story. And so I think that does prevent me from reading a lot in 24 hours, whereas some people might be able to finish this in 24 hours. So I'm gonna go to breakfast maybe I will find another beautiful place, like I showed before, to go read at least a chapter. And then I'll come home and I'll finish as much as I can in 24 hours. And then I think I'll give a little like some final thoughts on Frodo being a type 6. So far, I'm kind of 50-50 on him. So more on that later. I'm gonna have some breakfast. Probably not gonna film it just because it's my parents and I'm gonna try to be as present with them as possible. So I won't be filming it, but yeah, I will see you guys at the very end of this video. All right, guys, it is about 12:15. So the read-a-thon was supposed to end at 11:45, but I was trying to do a little bit of reading because I'm like 15 pages further than what I was this morning. It's just, they've really small writing in the Fellowship of the Ring, but I'm still gonna be reading this throughout the day. Maybe I'll do another short video when I like finish this, and maybe finish the other 2 books that I really wanted to read in this 24 hours. But because it is technically the end of the 24 hours, or over the 24 hours, I wanted to talk a little bit about why I originally started reading this. I had mentioned that I did some research and I found out that, like, I guess Frodo had been typed as a type 6, and also Bilbo, his uncle, was also typed as a type 6. And so far, and I mean, I'm like maybe a quarter of the way through the book, so not very far. And so far, I mean, I'm still not 100% convinced that Frodo is a type 6. I'm kind of like, I would say I'm 70% there at this moment. And I say that because, like, I see what people are saying. I think Frodo, and I'm trying to like differentiate Frodo from like the film version, because of course in my head, like, I'm seeing Elijah Wood, I'm seeing Sean Astin, you know, I'm seeing Ian McKellen, like, I'm seeing all of those characters, all of those actors as those characters, but the book version, the literary version of those characters is a little bit different from the film version. So I would say in this book, what I do see of Frodo is that he is very loyal. And I see where he takes after Bilbo, in that both of them have like this longing to be free and to be out in the world and to have adventure, especially right now Frodo, because he is a younger hobbit, younger meaning he's 50, because hobbits live for a long time, like longer than humans do, but he longs for that adventure like his uncle Bilbo, but he's also like very, he feels a little like attached to the Shire, which I do feel like is a very normal reaction for people to have, but I would say I see that, like that need to preserve the world around him and to preserve the safety of it, because I think when, like, because it's near the beginning, like Gandalf, you know, comes to Frodo and says, like, you're gonna need to leave with the ring, and Frodo's like, okay. And then once he's really faced with leaving, he's a little nervous and afraid, and he starts to think, like, I know, like, him and his friends have just, like, kind of gotten out of Hobbiton, and they look back, and Frodo thinks to himself, or he says out loud, like, will I ever see the Shire again? Like, will I ever see it like this? And so you kind of, I got the feeling of, like, oh, he just wants, like, he just wants his home to be okay, which can be a very type 6 reaction. Also, as of right now, Frodo's leaving the Shire with Sam and Pippin, and you know, he's kind of like chosen these friends. Like in the movies, it's kind of like an accident. Like he goes with Sam because Sam's really loyal, and I'm really getting type 2 vibes from Sam, like film version and literary version. And so it's kind of a no-brainer for Frodo to be with someone as loyal as Sam, because I'm getting the impression that Frodo, you know, like cares for him in the same way that you see in the film, but also Frodo, like he kind of chooses Pippin to come with him on this journey that he knows he has to take, even though he has no idea what he's doing. He's literally kind of blindly following Gandalf. So I see that loyalty from him, but also the fact that he's like leaving safety with like almost no answers from Gandalf. Like that doesn't seem type 6-ish to me. Type 6s generally, they want to know what they're getting themselves into. They're not the kind of people who don't look before they leap. Like they're going to test out the water first. And they need to, like, they usually need some kind of plan. So that's why I'm not 100% sold on Frodo being a type 6. So that's kind of why I want to do a little short follow-up video and maybe like give more of a conclusive statement on what I think. But anyways, so that was a lot. That was a lot to say. I have a lot of thoughts on this book, and I'm like, I don't even think I'm 100 pages in. No, I'm almost 100 pages in. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me for this past 24 and a half hours of reading. And I hope you guys are finding really good books to read this summer, because it's kind of really nice. I'm actually sitting right in front of my front door, and it's open, and the screen door is there, and it's not 95 degrees right now. It's actually like mid-ish 80s. I think it's getting a little hotter today, but it's a beautiful day, and I love having a beautiful book. And I'm definitely in a place where I really, and I can even hear animals and creatures outside. I'm being whisked away to my own little fantasy world right now, because I'm really wanting to go to the Shire. So I hope you guys are finding books that kind of do the same thing for you, and like bring some of that magic into your life that sometimes we just really need it. So there are times to be, you know, in the present moment, and I think there are times to be in your fantasy world, be in your little happy place or something. So I hope that's happening for you guys, and I hope you are staying kind, you are staying brave, and you are staying engaged. Until next time.